Mr. Wade here, me and Mrs. Crime, we out here at the Skyline Cemetery in Portland, Oregon, looking for a Linda Salee. Story about what happened to her coming up. Okay, so we have a guy named Jerry Brudos, born in 1939. His last murder was in 1969. Now, he was what you call the high heel killer. He stole women's high heel shoes as a kid and became a murderer. I'll explain a little more about that in a second. Stay tuned. Now, Linda Salee was 22 and she was abducted from the point of Portland's Mall. It's down there by a place called Pioneer Square, and she was abducted from there. Her car was there. Nobody could find her because he took her and did what he did. Wow. Now, Mr. Jerry Brudos, he came from, I think, Delaware with his family as a kid, came out to Oregon, lived in Salem. At a young age, he stole a high heel shoe. His mom took it away and teased him about it and wished that she had a son and a girl, a daughter, and not a son. He took that to heart and he lived a life of being not loved by his mom, which created this murderer that he became. So, Mr. Brudos committed a lot of murders out here in the state of Oregon. And he was definitely what they call, he would get females, take them down to his basement. He'll kill them before they get there, chop them up in pieces. He had one lady hanging in his basement. The wife upstairs that he married years later never knew that he was a murderer. So basically, Linda Dawn Salee, she was going to a car in Portland, Oregon. And his murder attempts, he's been in prison before. He's been let out for pleading insanity numerous times. So he abducted her, took her to his house. He got a new home with a detached garage so his wife wouldn't find out. So out of all this time, she didn't know that he was a murderer, right? So what he did was, he took Linda Salee to his house and he did what he does. He chopped them up. He makes paperweights out of their breast. He dresses them up in clothing. He does all kinds of strange things. So basically, his wife did not know. And on top of that, he did what he did to numerous females in his basement. He chopped them up in pieces, used their breasts as paperweights, body parts as paperweight. Now, how they found Linda Salee was that she was eventually thrown off into the Winnemata River. And how they found her was that she actually was floating in the water. I think somebody that was on a boat seen her, whatever. And so what happened was, while she was floating around, they found who she was. She was weighted down by a transmission part, tied to it with some wiring, electrical wiring. And across the way in the same water was another lady that he has killed called Kathleen, and he murdered her as well. And she was down there on also paperweighted by a motor engine part. Now, after all this time, through his trials and tribulations of him doing the murders, how they found him was that due to the wiring of how they was tied down, he used car wiring, electrical wiring. So they put that all together because he took an electrical course, became an electrician as his trade during all these years before all this stuff happened or while it was going on. This is the grave of Linda Dawn Salee, 1946 to 1969, in God's loving care. I know she's missed by her family. Tragic what happened to her life. Wow. But this is her. Tombstone Whispers giving her the respect and beautiful shine that she's doing right now. Nice set of flowers here, fresh, Linda Salee. So we have Linda Salee, Becky Elaine Salee, and Leo and Merla Salee. The Salee family. All family of Linda Salee. How you feel, Mrs. Crime? You're out here at the Skyline Cemetery. How you feel right now?
I mean, it's sad. Sad story.
Yes, it is. Now, due to proper research with Mrs. Crime back here, she found that Linda Salee was not chopped up at the beginning. Her breast was not took because this guy thought her breast was too pink and too whatever. So he used other people's breasts, but he definitely kept her on ice in his basement for a while, hanging. This guy was eventually caught. He went to prison, of course, and he ended up in Oregon State. He ended up getting life. He ended up dying later on, and in prison, of course. And but definitely this guy here was, wow, he's definitely on the murder list of Oregon State. And this guy here did a lot. I'm gonna post his name and everything that I posted on the video, his name, pictures, and everything. So we're out here adventuring some more. Stay tuned. So as we see, this guy here, Bruno, definitely was a notorious murderer out here in Oregon State. He admitted to murdering numerous females. He tried to do a kid, did not get a hold. Some of the people he tried to abduct got away from him, and they're telling stories of that. That's on here on YouTube as well. But he's definitely someone to talk about as far as just a sadistic, satanic guy for killing women. It all started off at a young age from his mom wishing he was her daughter, wishing she had a daughter, not a son. And that made him pretty much set up to what he's become to the end of dying in prison in Oregon. Hey, so guys, I hope you guys enjoyed our video over here at the cemetery Skyline over here in Portland, Oregon. I'm Mr. Wade and
Mrs. Crime.
Stay tuned for a lot more. Thank you to all the subscribers out there. More videos to come from us.